The compassion of Christ and the miracle of provision. Paraphrase outline, Matthew 14:13-21. Verse 13. After hearing of John the Baptist's death, Jesus withdraws by ship to a deserted place. The people, recognizing this, follow him on foot from nearby towns. Verse 14. Jesus sees the multitude, is moved with compassion, and heals their sick. Verse 15. As evening draws near, the disciples urge Jesus to send the crowd away to buy food in surrounding villages. Verse 16. Jesus tells them there's no need to send the people away. Give ye them to eat. Verse 17. The disciples reply they only have 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Verse 18. Jesus says, "Bring them hither to me." Verse 19. He commands the multitude to sit on the grass, blesses the food, breaks it, and gives it to the disciples, who distribute it to the crowd. Verse 20. Everyone eats and is filled. 12 baskets full of leftovers are gathered. Verse 21. About 5,000 men were fed, besides women and children. Historical understanding. 1st century Jewish context. 1. A desert place. In the Greek, the word eremos means solitary, wilderness, or uninhabited. Not a desert as in dry and sandy, but a remote area, away from towns. See Luke 9:10-11. Jesus likely sought solitude after John's execution, possibly also for prayer and mourning. 2. Traveling by ship. Jesus traveled across the Sea of Galilee, likely from a town like Capernaum to a quieter side, cf. John 6:1. This was quicker and less obvious than traveling on foot. 3. Crowds followed on foot. Their movement shows desperation for healing, teaching, and spiritual leadership. They ran around the lake's edge faster than Jesus' boat crossed, F. Mark 6:33. Mark 6:39. And again shows this was not a barren desert but a quiet place outside the villages. 5. Loaves and fishes. Typical Jewish fare. Small barley loaves, John 6:9, and preserved fish. These were the basics of a poor man's lunch. 6. 12 baskets. Symbolic not only of abundance but possibly representing provision for each of the 12 tribes of Israel, or even each disciple who served. Spiritual understanding and life application. 1. Jesus retreats but still ministers. We often need solitude, but even in our weariness, compassion can call us back to serve. Jesus is both human, needing rest, and divine, offering healing. 2. The crowd's hunger mirrors ours. Physically and spiritually, we are drawn to Christ when we are empty. Do we pursue him with the urgency of the crowd? 3. Give what you have. The disciples had only 5 loaves and 2 fish. God doesn't ask us for what we don't have, but asks us to offer what little we do. He multiplies what we surrender. For in order amid the chaos, Jesus commanded the people to sit. Even in large needs, he brings structure before performing a miracle. Psalms 14:40. First, overflowing provision. God's provision exceeds need. The leftover baskets remind us that God's supply is abundant, not just barely enough. 6. Involving the disciples. Jesus could have done this alone, but he uses people to serve others. Ministry involves us as part of the miracle. Conclusion and final thought. Jesus, in grief and solitude, is still moved by compassion and provides not only healing but abundance. His miracle reveals that God's grace is multiplied in the hands of faith. When we give him our small offerings, he can feed thousands, not just physically but spiritually. This passage challenges us. Are we willing to seek Jesus in the wilderness? Do we believe he can use our small gifts for greater good? Are we spiritually hungry for his presence enough to chase after him as the crowds did? Digging deeper, he took a ship to a desert place. Why a ship? To quietly move across the Galilean Sea, likely 4 to 6 miles wide, to escape crowds. Mark 6:31, desert place. As mentioned, not sandy but eremos, lonely, quiet, desolate. Jesus sought time with the Father in reflection after John's death. Matthew 14:12-13. People sat on grass. This shows that the desert place was green and supportive of life. It highlights the biblical pattern of green pastures, cf. Psalm 23:2, and suggests this was a spiritual feeding as much as a physical one.